Guys, welcome back to Tom Wants Things. So today on this episode we are starting our proper audio build on the Project Saxo behind me. So we are making some headway on the door cards, and what we're doing with that, we're hopefully going to have a delivery of the speakers that we've chosen for that as well. And then there's going to be a few other bits that we are doing on this project as we're sort of progressing, because there's a few bits that we kind of had left off when it was fully unveiled, and things that kind of need tidying up as we go along. And then I think we're also going to crack on and start working through some of the boot build and interior side of things as well, because we're going to be doing something really special for this car, and no doubt it's going to look absolutely epic for when it's sort of fully finished and out and about on the town. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on, and we're going to talk through exactly what we're up to.
Right guys, so as you're aware from our last episode, we were working through the door cards. So effectively what we did last time is we were putting on our sort of felt liner, and then with this liner, that was what we were using to kind of shape the door cards themselves. So that's kind of what we see on the screen at the moment, is kind of our shaped kind of door card sections that we needed, with the sort of fiberglass over the top of that to create more of a solid structure. Once that solid structure is kind of dried, which is what we see at the moment, then it was basically to get to cutting. So as you can see at the moment, we're kind of cutting out the apertures for the speakers. The pods that we had were slightly too small. They were 6-inch speakers, and we've got 6.5 inch. They just needed opening up slightly on that front section just to get it out. Then after that, now we're moving on to effectively sanding sort of all the fiberglass filler that we've used on this to start with, just to kind of give us a bit of a sort of level playing field as we progress further on to the point where we start to add a bit of body filler over the top of this. This is sort of a fairly labour intensive process, sort of thing that just ends up happening over sort of a fairly long period of time. Lots of fiberglass shards in your hand, which is obviously lovely, and then eventually kind of getting to a point where you've kind of got the overall shape that you require on the sort of speaker side of things on the door cards themselves. And then this is basically us moving on to the other side, because that also needed the sort of aperture taken out. So for this, we're using sort of trusty Dremel with a cutting disc on the end of it. To be honest, this tool I use for pretty much everything in the garage that requires sort of small intricate cuts, because it's just so easy to use and so sort of versatile. So I'd highly recommend, if you're in the market for something like that, definitely get it. Just plug straight in, so you don't need any air or anything, and then turn it on and cut away. So yeah, that's what we've done on the front, cutting out the aperture as we see, to just make it bigger to allow the speakers to fit in. Then as soon as this is finished, we'll move on to adding on our sort of body filler side of things. So we'll cut and sand this one quickly just to get it all nice and smooth, like the other side that we just showed, and then we will get out the body filler to effectively start to layer over the top of it, so that we can kind of create a smooth surface that we can either paint or cover, depending on what we kind of decide to do moving forwards. Right guys, so we got to this bit now where we've kind of fiberglassed everything in with both the fiberglass filler and also sheets. So this is now all nice and dry and absolutely solid. We've made sure that our apertures for each of the speakers are fitting correctly. So what I believe we're going to do now is we're going to get some body filler knocking over here. We're going to sort of clear the decks a bit as well, and we're effectively going to start layering up on top of this so that it kind of gives us a base profile that we can then start to smooth down. We'll be doing the same for this side as well, and then as soon as that's done, we can start to cut away at the back and just make sure that that's all nicely shaped. And then the next job is, we've got some material turning up on Monday finally for the centre bit of this door card. So then we're going to get to the point where we're going to be covering this and also this centre bit in two different materials, and I'll show that as soon as they turn up. But yeah, we'll have a sort of a different inlay in the centre to the sort of exterior piece here, and then from there we can start to kind of piece everything together with some wiring, speakers, and then we can start to, fingers crossed, do some testing. So yeah, going to crack on. We're going to get the body filler down, and I'll catch you guys when we've got to the other end of it. Right guys, still working my way through these. They are being an absolute pain in my backside at the moment. Definitely a huge amount of appreciation to you guys that have done this before or do this for a living. Yeah, definitely way bigger job than I was anticipating. I was hoping it'd be a little bit simpler than this, but it's yeah, it's becoming a big thing. But progress that we have made is, ta-da! So the inner door cards that effectively sit on the inside of the inner sort of pieces that sit on the inside of the door cards. We've got the first one kind of loosely complete. Still some areas that I just need to kind of really sort of wedge it in there and stuff. This again has also been a pain, but it's kind of okay. I mean, there's a certain areas where it's kind of flicked up here just on the right hand side, as you can see it, where it was kind of going nice and straight across here, and then just where I've sort of worked it in, it's kind of moved it around, and it's not where we've kind of got this edge where it was nice and straight across here, because it kind of bends in a bit where the materials kind of then started to flow inboard. It kind of, I don't know, with the eye and stuff, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'm not 100% convinced at the moment. I'm going to get these kind of a little bit more finished up. We'll chuck this on the inside, and then we will just kind of see how it looks, and then hopefully we can work out what we're going to do with it, because yeah, I don't know, slightly unsure at the moment, but we'll just have to wait and see. The kind of things that I was using to do this, because obviously the video's kind of skipped around a little. So we were using this stuff, which is some Trim Fix. I bought this before, it was the same brand and everything, but a slightly different can, and it was much better. This one has been a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest. It's not been as sort of strong, I guess is the best word to describe it. It's been peeling a little bit on the panel, so I don't know. Unfortunately, I'd bought 3 cans of it online, so we're gonna have to just use it for the moment. But yeah, so in essence what we're going to do is we're just going to get these finished up. We'll lay these on the inside, and then we will start to potentially, once these are smoothed off, get these in primer, because I think this whole door card piece is a bit that's going to kind of be painted, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to paint these bits. We're also, I think, going to paint the whole dash as well. Kind of and ahhing a little bit with that at the moment. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll kind of create a sort of blend around here and up here, and we'll keep all of this top section black. We'll have the grey inlay through the bottom, and then we'll do something on the base of this, whether it's wrapped kind of this colour, which could be kind of cool on the interior. Not too sure yet, but we will find out. Right guys, so this is loosely what we're kind of aiming for. So we've done kind of a retrim, loose kind of thing, need to tie up a couple of the edges on the centerpiece that kind of comes through the center here. Then we've made a really good start on blending this sort of bit with the 3 speaker pods into kind of the lower section of this this door skin. And then we've got our kind of 2 at the moment, temporary sort of placed Edge Pro 6.5-inch speakers sitting in there. I think kind of it's going to work sort of when it gets around to it, but this bottom bit is taking way longer than anticipated. Just to kind of smooth all these bits in is just an absolute mission. As you can see, this is nowhere near finished, but because I'm kind of having to just plug at this whenever I get a chance, I'm getting a bit fed up with it and losing a bit of motivation, but we will definitely get there. Then on the inside we've got our OMP mounts kind of ready to go in, so these now can mount the seats that we're going to be putting in this. I've actually made a decision that we're not going to be using these anymore. They were just slightly too big, and I wasn't 100% keen on the kind of the quality of them. They were sold to me as being amazing, and then as I've kind of had them, there's definitely some blemishes on these, which the fact that I'd have to get them retrimmed anyway, kind of the cost of that means, well, why don't I just go and get some new seats that match our kind of material that we've got over here for doing the door cards. As you can see, we've stripped all the interior out of the back because we're not having that anymore, and that's actually already been sold. So we're going to be taking the rear seat belts out so that they're not sort of in there anymore, and then we're going to be splicing out the feeds for the rear speakers that are in the left and right hand side of this, so that we can use those for the speakers in the car. Then, as you can see, wheels and stuff are off at the moment. So one thing that we were going to be doing is getting these refinished. So these are the wheels off of the 106. At the moment, they're fully stripped with all the bolts and everything out and center caps off. These are ready to go to get refinished and coated. We'd kind of given it a really quick sort of blow over with some silver paint just to make it presentable, but these actually need to be finished now because that 106 kind of is let down by the wheels. So the wheels that are on the Saxo are on the 106 at the moment, and so what it means means is that because we've kind of got all the wheels off, we can have a chance at cleaning up some of the bits that we had left, because when we were kind of throwing this all together for the show, it wasn't fully required. But we're going to be replacing these discs, so on the front and also the ones on the back as well, just because they're looking pretty crusty, and some nice new ones, fairly inexpensive, drilled and grooved on front and back. Engine bay, we've been working through bits on this. As you can see, the lights are off at the moment, so we're taking the lights out because we are sorting out and tidying up some of the bits that are behind this. As you can see, we've actually had a bit of a split happening over on this side, because there was never a bracket. Like, there was a bracket that's been welded on this side, but from what I can see, there was never one put on this side, which is why this kind of occurred. And actually now got to the bottom of why this bumper is always sat a bit too low, is because there isn't supports in kind of these two corners really. So we're going to address that and fix it, because that was clearly never done sort of when this car was originally built. So we're going to basically weld in a new bracket on this side. Probably going to take this one off and put another one in this side as well, just so they match on both sides, and that will then lift this front bumper up, which means that we won't have this kind of gapping situation, which has kind of always been the case on this car, and that will just make it way better. Other things kind of going on under here at the moment, you'll see that the ECU brackets down there somewhere at the moment has been taken out, and we're also going to be taking the battery one out, because there is a little bit of sort of rusty goodness just in these areas around here. It's only really surface, it's not penetrating through, so we're going to grind it all back. We're going to paint it, as well as taking the strut brace off and clearing up a load of the sort of cabling and stuff, that's the wires and bits and bobs that are all sort of floating around here, just to make this really quite nice underneath. You'll see that obviously we've got the filter and stuff on now, so at least it's not going to be sucking in just sort of random stuff. But yeah, so we're going to be going through all of this and getting that all sorted. Then a completely separate mod, which we've now got on the 106 as well, are these little guys. So these on the original car were kind of like a gloss black sort of metal coated sort of powder coat finish, and we've managed to pick up some new old stock of these like chrome pins. So we've got them on the Saxo now, and we also have them on the 106. I mean, it's the sort of thing where I'm sort of Max Power era modding, that sort of thing. So it's all the little accessories and stuff, and I think, yeah, a couple of quid, happy days, look pretty cool. Right, so that's probably it for this video, to be honest. As you can see, things are sort of life is basically taking over, and things are taking a little bit longer than anticipated. But I'm always going to show you kind of the sort of progression that you take as you do these sort of things, because as I said before, I've never done this. Vastly underappreciated the amount of work that it takes to actually do this sort of stuff. So it's a learning curve for me, and hopefully then it's a learning curve for you, and you don't make the same mistake and you set aside a little bit more time than I have to get this sorted. So door cards, next video you're going to see that completely finished. They're going to be fully 100% done, back in the car, and all the speakers and stuff in there and wired up, which will be cool. And then we'll also be working on the 106 to basically get the speakers and subwoofers working in that, and then we can make a start on what we're going to do on the interior of that. It's probably not going to be as mental as the Saxo, but it's still going to be cool nonetheless. Then separately from all of that, we've got the intake, which will stick on the Tiguan, which, I don't know, maybe we'll chuck into a video, maybe not. We'll see sort of how easy it goes, or whether we run into any issues along the way. And then finally we've got the Porsche, so Porsche is going to be making a bit more content now. So that's fully up and running, wheels all finished, all back on the car, all running, happy days. So we're going to be taking that out to a few more shows over this sort of period of time between sort of now and what will be sort of early next year, where the shows start, because I can kind of use that, whereas the 106 will be definitely undercover to keep that all nice and fresh. So yeah, so that's going to be it for now. As always, thanks everyone for watching, and bearing with my underappreciation of the work that's being required to get some of these bits sorted. Hopefully this will be sped up now that the majority of stuff has been complete for those door cards, and then we've just got to crack on and work out what we do with the subwoofers in the boot. But anyway, that's for tomorrow, Tom, to worry about. So anyway, cheers all for watching, stay tuned for more content, and I will catch you on the next one. See you later.